Welcome to the City Council Public Safety Committee. Today is September 14th, it's 7 p.m. We have Councilor Derby, we have Councilor Rothschild here, and we do have some minutes to approve. We have the July 6 minutes. We'll take a motion to approve those.
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Say none. Councilor Derby?
Aye.
Councilor Rothschild?
Aye.
And I say aye. Motion passed 3-0. So we have a couple of items of continuous business. I'm going to start with the safety of the sidewalk on South Street and Main Street, so that way Greg and Jeff can take the night off after a really long afternoon. I know this came from Councilor Derby. If you want to talk and let Greg and Jeff, what was your concern? I briefly talked to them at 50 Payson, but it will be good if you.
Sure. So this was something that was brought up initially in I think it was the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission study of South Street. I'm
sorry, Salem. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I missed this part, and happened to you, I think, the other day too. Public speak time.
Oh, yeah, I did it too.
Yes, I just saw the agenda. I'm really sorry. Is anyone here from the public that want to say something that is not part of the agenda? Say no. There you go, Salem. I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, and so as we were evaluating the safety of the Main and South Street intersection, that was one of the things that was flagged, and we focused primarily on the work that was happening with the state and the new lining and the new paving, and it was just it just kind of like fell out under the radar, and then I was contacted by a constituent who was concerned about that, and it brought it back to the surface for me, realizing that with the new school, we could potentially have a lot of kids coming from the other end of South Street needing to cross Main Street. And that particular spot where there's supposed to be a sidewalk is paved over and is used as a parking area. So we could have like little kids, potentially, elementary school kids walking into South Street in order to get to school. So that's why I wanted to bring it back and see if we could, take a look at it again. And find a solution for that. So,
any of Greg or Jeff?
Yeah, I can start if you want. I mean, we are looking at it. We have to have the intersection surveyed, all the property around that intersection surveyed, just to see exactly where the city right-of-way layout is, and whether or not, if that building, take the variety store for example, if the building is, the corner of the building is city property, then we have some space there where we might be able to get a better sidewalk, get a sidewalk established or reestablished if there was one there that was paved over at some point in time. I'm not sure, but we need to have that survey done to see exactly what we have and what we can do. So we're working on that now. I had an appropriation in front of the Finance Committee earlier for some of the work, paving and drainage work we're doing on Main Street, and part of the construction oversight contract for that includes complete survey of this intersection. We carried that in the in that portion of the work so that we could take a better look at the intersection. Jeff and I have been out there a couple of times and looked at some things we could do, and we got kind of shot down without having a survey just to see exactly where property lines are. So that's moving forward, and hopefully we'll have that in the next few weeks. But Jeff, I'll let you add there if you want.
Just a little bit, if that's all right. I mean, I think it's good that we're talking about this, taking a step back, like a couple months. I can't remember exactly what happened first, but I saw Greg Rashane at some point, and we were chatting about it. And then, I think Greg took the right steps, which is to reach out to City Council to make sure that, we're all kind of looking at this. When Greg, Greg Nottleman, I think when it became apparent that it was going to get paved, that's when you and I started talking, because we wanted to make sure as best we could, we tried to look at the whole intersection while it's getting paved. And that's where what Greg mentioned is Greg and I went out there. Greg's been great. Like we met out there, and Greg and I came up with an idea of trying to move part of the crosswalk closer to like Main Street Mobile, so like the other way, which we thought would add to pedestrian safety. And we thought that we were out there waving our hands around, like kind of trying to envision this. And then that's when it kind of started this domino effect of the city's consultant kind of, weighed in, and they said there's some issues with that. And then they said what we really need is survey work to know what's happening on, the first part is crossing Main Street. Then there was always been this big question about what about the variety store, and without knowing where that property line is, like we can't do much until we know that. And just to be really candid, kind of moving forward, is there's a couple different scenarios that could play out. One, which is we have a lot of right of way. Actually, it would go this way. So like the road goes closer to the building, and that would give us hopefully some wiggle room. Or the private property goes right up to the curb edge now, in which case, we don't own that, and we would be taking property from the owner. So that's why the survey turned out to be really important. And then Greg Nodelman, if it's okay, I think one of the things we're looking at now is the timing. So it comes down, every project these days is coming down to timing and money. So the timing is, if we can get the survey and it shows that we have right of way there, then maybe we need to have someone come up with a sketch design or understand like what that would look like, and see if we can match it up with the Main Street paving project. And then there's a question about if there's money for that, which there could be, there could not be. So we're all in this mix right now. And then the conversation I had with Greg Rashane was the flip side of this whole thing. What the consultant said is, if we can't figure it out right now, like as part of the paving project, they're saying that once the school opens and the traffic, there's going to be a new traffic pattern, because like you were saying, Salem, all these elementary students and their parents are going to be driving that route. So we actually need to wait a little bit. We need to have the traffic pattern take place, and we need to do traffic counts. And at that point, the consultant actually seemed pretty optimistic that maybe the numbers would go up, because I think what we really need there is a light. We need a stoplight on Route 10, and the only way that we're going to get that is if the vehicle counts go up. So that we're kind of stuck between, we're trying really hard to do something now, and I'm kind of optimistic, but it's time and money. So those are things that are out of my control. Then there's, once the school opens, I'm sure we'll hear from parents about the concerns. And then if the numbers help us, we can maybe get Mass DOT to consider a light. So Greg Nodelman, I don't know if there's something that you would want to add to that, and then maybe we'll stop talking and hear questions. But
yeah, I mean that's basically it. Like if the survey shows what we're hoping, we can maybe get a sidewalk in there for now. And then I think either way, whether we get that sidewalk right away or not, once the school's open, we're going to have to get some traffic counts and see what we can do with that intersection. And that's a much larger project that, we'd have to find funding for.
Yes, and I think from Councilor Derby point, I think the immediate things that we want to see there is the sidewalks for the kids, right? For the safety of our kids going to school, get out of the school, and being sure that we have that next to that building, because we have a sidewalk in the whole street in that side, but until there, now the business user are using that sidewalk as a parking, and we as a councilors, we want to know what we can do to make that site just for people to walk, not to park. And I think that's the biggest concern that we have, and that's the biggest concern that Councilor Derby bring to the full council. And if we can address that as soon as possible, I think that will be good for the safety of the kids and the community. But the biggest concern is the kids going to school.
And I would agree with that. I would say I don't want to say a stopgap, but I would like to. I think it would be good as soon as we can figure out I mean, I know that the building, because when I was just there the other day looking at it, the building's super close to the road. I mean, it seems like strangely close. So I think it's going to be, and I generally the city on all right of ways, generally the city has like at least a 3 foot buffer, from the road. I don't know if that's universal, but I know that that's a general thing. So, and I don't, and Omar, I think this might be worth us bringing in the owners of the business because, we might want to see in the meantime, and Greg and Jeff I think that, what you guys are talking about is amazing. I know that that's what needs to happen. I don't know what the timing on the survey is, but I almost would like to see maybe us coordinate with the business owner and see if we can't, and Greg, you might be able to assist, and maybe we could throw down some yellow paint, like if they were willing to work with us, so we could make like a interim, pedestrian walkway, and as far as I can tell, the back parking lot of College Highway is, there's like one broken down car, and it doesn't seem to get a lot of use. It seems like it could support like what their normal, how many cars are normally parked on that side piece there, that they could support that in the back lot. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just thinking like in the meantime, maybe there's some stuff we can do. But Omar, we're probably going to have to bring in the business owner. Yeah.
Okay. And I think Salem, I think it's a good strategy, and it's not for naught because I think Greg and I met out there twice, and the second time we had our consultant, and we did reach out to the property owner, and they came. So they're willing to listen to us, but in reality, the first thing he said, it was really the only thing he said is, "Well, I need to know what you're talking about here." So like, how far in are you talking about coming onto, like, he's saying, how far in to my property are you coming? And the flip side is, how much does the city own? And so the survey, I've been pressing as hard as I can. And so the consultants are out there working. Greg, I don't remember, what VHB said. It's probably 2 to 3 weeks from now until, I think there's a known point kind of when you're going down South Street, there's a condominium complex kind of. So there is a pin, found it. There's an iron pin there, but it's going, then you look towards Route 10, and that's the property line where we don't know. And we need to know that to really figure out what's what. But so I would say in 2 to 3 weeks, we really need the survey. Then the property owner, we should invite them to a meeting or start talking. So I think they'll still, but I think that's a good strategy, Sam. I think that's an appropriate next step. I just wanted to say one thing too. I think that with the location of this school, it's going to be a huge shift in people's behavior. And I do think we all need to start preparing for this to happen over and over again, because I think South Street has been long talked about, and it's definitely a prominent intersection. But I think we're going to find quite a few more of these issues as people start to orient themselves to that new school. So, I am trying to gather some information about how much survey work will cost, because I think if you look at Park Street and even all the way up Line Street, the sidewalk is very, very close to the road. It's at the back of curb. And I think we're going to hear more and more people take issue with that. So, I'm trying to at least be prepared with understanding what survey might cost as a first order of magnitude, because I think we need to start really looking ahead that this is a permanent shift in our whole community. So investing a little bit of money in survey, and then seeing if there's other areas of sidewalk that need to be improved. I think there's quite a few that we're going to see, especially as a flash reaction to the first couple of years that especially the younger kids started accessing that property.
So, and I know we are going to repave Main Street, and I know until probably when we're going to be working, because I was at the finance committee, and Greg mentioned an average when we're going to end their working. So 2 or 3 weeks to have the survey done will be good enough because the Main Street project is not going to be end in 3 weeks. It's going to be end probably at the end of October, first few weeks in November, right?
Yeah.
So come in with the survey in 2-3 weeks. So if we have enough money to do something in that intersection, probably we're going to be allowed to do it. That's correct. If we have the money.
Craig, do you want? I mean, the contractor has a scheduled end date, and if we can't meet that, then that's one of the problems we might encounter. But if they go longer, Greg, I don't know if you want to speak to that, or if it's too soon to know what they're looking at for scheduling.
It sort of is. I mean, they have alluded to us that they may need to push the final paving to the spring, and we'll have temporary blacktop in there, but it's not. It's really hard to say until we know where the survey is and what we can do.
Because they're so my little experience was that if they can fit in a paving day or 5 days or whatever, for their schedule, they're going to try to squeeze it in, because they don't. Yeah. If the contractor doesn't want it to go to spring, because then it'll throw off their spring schedule. But
yes,
yeah. So we're stuck with not knowing quite yet. But the survey is underway, which I think is bonus right now.
But I do think that if the survey shows we can get a sidewalk in on South Street, even if it's temporary along the edge of the building there, I know Jeff and I will do whatever we can to find the money to do that. And I'm sure the mayor will help us. So it's
and I'm pretty sure if that came to us, we're going to say yes.
Yeah. I mean, I can't promise it'll happen, but I can almost promise it'll happen. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. I know. Any of the Lindsay, you want to say something?
No, I was just listening. I was wondering the timing on. I think you answered that. Jeff, the survey would be in 2 to 3 weeks that they do the survey.
Yes.
That's a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is. Yeah, I've also heard from Greg, Rashane, and other residents on that side of Maine. Also, people with disabilities who, this just creates universal access. The more we create safe ways to cross streets. So, and I'm wondering if the business owner, I met Jeff out there coincidentally, we just rendezvoused there. And I was looking at their parking lot. I was wondering I don't know if the consultants would do this, but it also looked like they could, if they didn't have 3 entrances to that front area, they would have more parking in the front too. If they just had one in and out, they wouldn't have to. So it seems like there's ways they could probably better design their parking lot to maintain parking, even losing the side.
I mean, everyone's in this kind of looking for the same goal, which I think is great. And I think just to be mindful, because I'm learning too. I'm afraid sometimes I get ahead of myself, and people tell me that sometimes. There is the survey, and then that's going to be really indicative, because we'll kind of we'll know some basic direction, but then there's actually coming up with a design. Because then what Lindsay said made me think of this, is that there is a plan to get an ADA crossing from across Main Street basically, and we will meet ADA for that. But then if we can keep going over that parking lot, we have to make sure that we can design it to ADA compliance. There's truck turning, there's all these things. There could be utility issues. So there's a lot of things that come in that design phase. Then there's getting hitting the construction schedule. So all those things have to line up. But I feel like what you're hearing is some commitment here to really focus on it now. I think Greg and I were concerned that the paving is going to start, right? And that had to kind of roll, and now we're still kind of working out this intersection. But that's unfortunately that's kind of the pattern. That's that scheduled pattern right there.
So as a committee, my recommendation will be keep it on the agenda, wait for the survey to come out, and then we keep the discussion about this. But before that, I know probably Greg have any question. It's from the public. No, Greg Noterman, the other Greg. I don't know. I will give you the opportunity to make any question if you have any, or Julie.
Yeah, just a quick. This is all very informative, and it seems like you guys are a lot farther along. Jeff, you kind of under-promised when we met informally out in public, and it seems like you're a lot further than you thought you might be then, which is great. Yeah, and I appreciate you guys getting in the weeds on this. I know it's it's kind of a unique, weird right of way thing. Like, but nonetheless, I appreciate you kind of rolling the sleeves up and getting after it. And I guess also too, probably maybe my one like global feedback is like this is an intersection that I experience with my family most frequently. I think, Jeff, you're probably totally right. I would assume that we'll have more, like you all hear about more of these, and like, I like ultimately like my interest is in like a town-wide like prioritization. I mean, so I mean, as in like. I'm sure there's other scenarios like this. I don't know if mine's the most acute or what, but so point being, like, I appreciate like the global anticipation of some of these more broadly. I mean, I do think the corridor to south to school though is going to be we have a lot of friends within a stone's throw of here who are looking forward to walking to school and avoiding the vehicle drop off. So that's going to be key. But thank you.
Well, thank you. Anyone else? None. So that's what I'm going to recommend to the committee to do. I will keep it on the agenda, and I will ask Jeff and Greg, when you guys have the survey out, please share it with us.
Yeah, if we have it, we'll get it out to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great night, both.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we're done with that for now. We're going to keep it on the agenda for the next couple of weeks when that came out. Now we're going to review the report from the Mayor's Press report with Lindsay Consuelo Rothschild sent us the report. I don't know if, let me see. I don't know if you had it there, Lindsay. Maybe you can share with us. Do you take a look of it, Derby, Salem? Cannot hear. You're muted. Wait, let me see.
I did not get to see it. I didn't notice. I saw the minutes come through, but I didn't notice the second attachment. So.
Oh, okay. No, so we can read it now.
Lindsay. I've been crazy busy. So, but I'm pulling it up right now.
Wait, Lindsay, you are.
There we go. I found.
It's to start a framework and try to synthesize different. I just put everybody's in a thing and try to synthesize. So we can.
Oh, it looks good though.
You want me? It's well formatted.
Very.
Do you want me? Are you going to put it out, Omar, or do you want me to?
You can do it, please.
Okay, hold on. Or maybe Salem can, because it's got open.
I might be a co-host. It looks like I can share. Do you want me to?
Yeah, you go ahead since you have it open.
All right, I'm pretty sure that I do. Here.
Or maybe I should have my Google Docs in case you want me.
Is that right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I should be able to zoom in a little bit. Whoa.
There you go.
How about that?
Yeah, now it works better.
You want me to read it just so we can hear it together?
Yeah, let me get to the beginning so I can. There we go.
Okay. Mayor's Pledge, recommendation based on the Mayor's Pledge. It's like recommendations based on recommendation.
Right.
Introduction. As members of the Public Safety Committee of the Easthampton City Council, we were charged to review the Mayor's Pledge work group and hear testimony from the public and those who were involved with its creation. The Mayor's Pledge, created by My Brother's Keeper under the Obama Foundation, was signed by Mayor Nicola Chappelle on June 3rd, 2020. The Reimagining Police Pledge is a call for mayors and local officials to review and reform use of force policies, redefine public safety, and combat systemic racism within law enforcement. Systemic racism is not unique to police departments. We are still living in the aftermath of evils of slavery and segregation, where public policies, institutional practices, cultural representations, and other norms work in various often reinforcing ways to perpetuate racial group inequity. Structural racism is not something that a few people or institutions necessarily choose to practice. Rather, it has been a feature of the social, economic, and political systems in which we all exist. The first step to dismantling the racism is to acknowledge that it exists. The city of Easthampton has the opportunity to be proactive in creating more transparency, building trust, and eliminating bias within our police department. We are grateful to all our community members who came forward to give public testimony. It is clear that the members of the public feel divided on the topic of policing. This is no surprise, as the national landscape that spurred this report is highly charged and volatile, and rightly so. At extreme ends were the assumptions that all police are bad and that any change in police or scrutiny of the Easthampton Police Department is an attack on the police. It also became clear that there is not enough data and sharing of data to have substantive conversations around areas of bias, police oversight, or policy changes. Many members of the public, the police, and those involved in the conversations expressed that if we really want to do and be better, we need to be collaborative, beginning to understand our neighbors' perspectives as we move forward as a community to actually solve the issues that we in Easthampton face is critical. As members of the Public Safety Committee, we are in an advisory role and can affirm and recommend actions or policies. In that capacity, we would like to highlight the recommendations that we feel are most relevant and impactful, as well as recommend action steps. So I put recommendation 2 as number 1. Engage in robust data collection, analysis, and regular reporting, number 1 priority. With good data collection, we can track trends and patterns that can inform the approach that we need to take for all other recommendations. Open data and transparency also leads to increased trust with the community. Recommended action steps. Join the Police Foundation's Police Data Initiative, pursue a partnership with Westfield State University's Criminal Justice Department to ensure regular data reporting and analysis. See attached letter. Report quarterly to the Public Safety Committee, report quarterly, and via the website, I should say police report quarterly. Reporting to include training received, use of force incidents, whether any cases have been referred to a retroactive justice, I think that was supposed to be restorative justice program. Data on complaints, which must contain information on ethnicity, race, gender, and the reason for the interest.
That's the first one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the second one, but it's the first one because we're going to tell them to do that first.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I will add, and recommendation probably to the mayor, is to hire someone to do it.
Well, that's what I have the Westfield State. Okay.
Because what I don't want is to take a police officer from the street and doing it because that's what they're doing it now.
Well, I was looking for a way to not hire, to have a institutional partnership with a team of data. So I was thinking that that is kind of the third party that we implement.
So you say Westfield State University?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. It's okay with me. If we can save money, that's better too.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay. Recommendation number 1, invest in community-led non-police responses to health and safety concerns. Taking steps, make sure the EPD has the support from professionals that are not armed to de-escalate situations is critical when it comes to mental health, drug addiction, and domestic violence-related incidents. Recommended action steps, conduct a community assessment of needs and resources, which I feel like is tied to the data, the needs assessment. Engage the Board of Health and other community partners in creating response alternatives. Initiate one or more of the following. Formalize partnerships with community and support options. Build capacity of community-led peer support initiatives. Civilian mental health professional position with EPD. I don't know.
I like it.
Recommendation 3, strengthen oversight.
Excuse me. Before you go to the third one, if you need to add something, or now is the time to do it before keep going. So
no, it's fine. I'm good with it so far.
Okay, perfect.
I'll
I'm
speak
good
up.
too, Lindsay. I'm sorry that I interrupt you. I just want to.
Yeah, and I haven't looked at this in a couple of weeks, so I'm always like, what did I write? A week. It's a week. It's only been, it feels a couple of weeks. Strength and oversight. The state bill S2393, an act relative to justice, equity, and accountability in law enforcement in the Commonwealth, will increase that oversight and accountability. Our city must increase our oversight to be able to coordinate with the new state law to instill trust to those with grievances and ensure impartial justice. We recommend that the city establish an independent body to receive and investigate complaints. Recommended action steps. I just wrote one of the following. Create an independent review committee that receives and investigates complaints. Identify an alternate city department that receives and investigates complaints. Hire an independent civilian investigator who has experience working in police departments. The committee recommends that the city reach out to surrounding communities to see if this is a position that could be shared across municipalities to make it more economically feasible. Anything there?
Good.
Okay. Recommendation 4, engage in intentional, regular communication and collaboration with the community to understand and codify safety needs and develop responses. And in connection with recommendation 2, we see community engaged response for identifying needs and analyzing results as a vehicle for creating meaningful interaction and dialogue between community members and the EPD. I don't know if that's clear. What I was trying to say, if like that whole process should be a community collaborative process with the police. But I wasn't like, that's a meaningful way for the community and the police to interact, is kind of investigating data together. But then create an open data team comprised of community residents, police administrators, and city council members to work together with the Westfield State Criminal Justice Department to identify areas of research, codify safety needs, and develop responses. Examine police culture and training. These we didn't really have much to, we didn't, the three of us didn't write much, so I kind of, you'll see what I wrote, but real and perceived ideas of police culture impact trust with the community. As with any profession, it is critical to have quality and robust training opportunities and experiences to grow and deepen understanding. In the wake of events of last year, we have learned of police from across the country associated with white supremacist groups and those who participated in an attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Community members want assurance that members of our department are not active in these groups or activities. Recommended action steps. Work with and invite members of impacted communities. This is right from the report, from the other recommendations. I was just reiterating them. To design police training curriculum and report on these trainings at quarterly public safety committee presentations. Adopt a policy prohibiting any officer or recruits found to have been associated with white supremacists or other hate groups from remaining or being hired by the EPD. Those are direct. Prioritize hiring people who are currently underrepresented in the department. Again, that's pretty much directly from the other report.
Yeah, from the other report.
Recommendation 6, but it all seemed doable. Educate and inform the Easthampton community about the revised use of force policy. Develop an accessible one-page summary of changes to the use of force policy and distribute widely to the community by posting prominently, and I should write, and post prominently on the website. Embrace the frameworks and approach to use of force analysis outlined in the police executive research forums, what police chiefs and sheriffs need to know about collecting and analyzing use of force data. That's from the report. So that's it.
Good. Now, the only thing I missed, I could be wrong. Oh, did we have anything about like a complaint procedure or?
That was in the
yes, it's here.
I might have missed it.
Yeah, it was the hire an independent investigator. We need an independent body to do it. And I didn't want to say like as a group, like which way the city should go, but just kind of like one of these three, like
like an online way. So they don't have to make a complaint to the people they're complaining.
Right, exactly. Like a third party independent body.
Yeah. Or at least an anonymous or like some like a website or something.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that's good.
I saw it somewhere, but I cannot see it now.
There was one about strength and oversight, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3?
Yes, I just trying to figure it out the words on recommendation number 4. when you say this, we see the community engaged process for identifying data needs and analysis results.
You have to reword that. Well, like there's definitely, we do have, I feel like a start to the meaningful interaction is kind of really coming together in an open way and just being like, well, what data questions do we have? And it, that could, if the members of the community can participate with police to do that.
Yeah, maybe the
facilitated by
the people from the community could be the CRC.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, it could be that. It could be them. They're part of the community and they're serving in a committee that they're created for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The CRC. Sorry. I'm just thinking how I will defend this when someone asks me. That's what I'm trying to look like.
Yeah, the CRC
the CRC will be.
And then I just want to, when I wrote quarterly reports, I just need to be more clear that I think the police, like the fire department, should just come quarterly and.
No, definitely. No, I really love that idea. I think they should come and use the public safety for what it's for. Come in, give us a report quarterly. Same with the fire department. What do you think, Salem?
I like it. I think it's good. I think it's a good synthesis. Thanks, Lindsay.
You like it? So, I think you said you have to change something, but it's a minimal.
There's just I just noticed some grammar errors.
It's a minimal error. So, but I want to make a motion to approve the report and send it to the full city council.
I would second that.
So we have a motion and a second to send the report to the full city council with a recommendation to the mayor. We have, I say already have it. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hear none. Councilor Derby?
Yes.
Councilor Rothschild?
Yes.
And I say yes. And I have to say, motion passes. And I have to say thanks to the community. I think listening to the community, there was a good sessions for us, good learning experience for us, listening both sides, right? Mm-hmm. I think we have a really passionate people from both sides, people who believe that we shouldn't have a police department, and we have another side that feel like the police is God, and I think this report represent both in a way. Mm-hmm. And that's made me really happy, and I think we did a really good job. Thank you, Councilor Derby, Councilor Rothschild. I think you guys nail it, and it's always a pleasure to work with you both.
You.
I've already been getting questions too as to if they're about the public, when it's going to be on the public hearing. So people are interested and probably up. So that's good here. And that's October.
Yeah, for October. The first meeting in October that I don't remember now the day.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that all the public hearings really get people to get that initial feelings off the chest, that hopefully the next step can be more restorative and healing.
Yeah, October 6th. You was right. October 6th at 6:15.
Okay.
Anything else from you guys? No? Okay. So. Do you want to schedule the next meeting before we adjourn?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay. Are we looking at October?
Yes, but we met the first Tuesday of the month, but I want to give yes. But the other thing that I want to do is, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Maybe we should meet the 12th or the 19th, so that we get the survey back.
Yeah, let's go with 19th.
The 19th is good with me.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it works for me too.
7 p.m.
Yeah.
All right. October 19th, 7 p.m.
Perfecto. All right. October 19th, 7 p.m.
Yeah, that's good. So we went through the new business that we don't have any. Old business that we already touched them, and this is it. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We had a motion and a second to adjourn. Councilor Derby?
Yes.
Councilor Rothschild?
Yes.
And I say yes. Have a great night.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.